Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be with Steven Scheider from TrioSEO, where they create SEO content that actually drives traffic and leads. Steven, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Seth. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you. Let's go back in time a little bit. How did you get started?
Wow, loaded question. So I was studying finance and way back in college and was kind of on track to do the MBA, investor banking path. And while I was in school, a friend of mine showed me SEO and kind of showed me that he was already making like upwards of 10 to 15 grand per month using SEO to build his own websites. And so I pretty much scrapped everything I knew about finance and got my degree and then started building websites with him on the side. And we graduated and had a small portfolio, but by that time we kind of, merged with his partner. We had at our peak around 40 websites, doing about 300 to 400 articles per month and scaled that to 7 figures. So it was a pretty fun ride. And that was my crash course into SEO. And now years later, I get to kind of offer my same strategies and all my tips and tricks to clients. It's been pretty fun.
I'm sure the longer version of that story should probably be in a book somewhere if it isn't already. Who is an ideal client for Trio?
B2B and SaaS CMOs or C-suite executives who are kind of looking to invest in their SEO. We primarily deal with content and high intent content. So we're not dealing with like technical SEO or backlinks or any of that sort of stuff, but we're just really good at creating content that attracts the right people to your brand. And then you can, leverage them into your nurture sequence and all that sort of stuff. So most of our clientele is in that upper level kind of founder CMO situation. So
industry matter, company size matter?
Yeah, company size would be at least kind of like in the high 6 figures, low 7 figures at least. Company size, for the industry as well would be like any of the e-commerce space works really well. We've seen, technical services, anything that really just has an opportunity to answer a lot of questions on content, because that's what works well with Google are trying to, meet with that ideal customer. So a lot of questions means more content.
That makes a lot of sense. What are some of the biggest challenges that these folks are facing that you're helping them solve?
I think there's just the fact that people kind of look at their blog and they don't know what to do with it. It's one of those things where it's kind of always been around, but people are like, what do we do? Do we write updates? Is it just random posts? But really, when you target the right content and it works well and kind of is more of an integrated asset into your entire marketing strategy, it can really do some damage in terms of attracting the right people, driving the right, kind of customers to however you want to direct them, ROI focus. And so I think just knowing how to leverage your blog and, kind of turn it into that flywheel effect can really kind of make a difference in your overall strategy.
Absolutely. So what if you've got a company that's saying, why should I be blogging? And if so, how often should I be blogging and what should I be blogging about?
Yeah. So we do a full kind of ground up strategy. And what we do is we take a look at the competitors and kind of see what your customers are looking at, and then take a look at their intent and where they are in their journey. And then we work, from our marketing funnel perspective, we go after bottom of funnel topics first. And so everything is data driven. Nothing's based on just guesses and throwing something against the wall, hoping it sticks. And what we do then is just kind of create a strategy based on, anywhere from 5 to 10 articles per month, and just kind of rinse and repeat and do that over a 6-12 month period. so that when you look back, you just have all these different keywords, hundreds and thousands of keywords on your site, which act as potential doors or entry points for people to find you.
So are you telling people what to do, or are you actually like doing the writing for them?
Yeah, so 100% hands-off service for all clients. So we'll do strategy, briefs, writing, editing, uploading, and even publishing. So it's a very like out of sight, out of mind thing. We send weekly emails and updates, but aside from that, we meet quarterly to review strategy, review analytics, and then everything else is just kind of like email updates and weekly growth updates.
Where does the content come from?
So we have a team of in-house writers that are kind of a mixture of like SMEs and generalists and people who just kind of know the niches, or we'll go find someone who can speak on it as an expert tone, and then kind of onboard them, integrate them into our process, and kind of work with them to kind of see that come to life.
And I believe you served a vendor of ours and helped free up scale to over $12 million in annual recurring revenue. Tell us a little bit about that. That sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so my partners Connor Gillivan and Nathan Hirsch were the founders and kind of people who started FreeUp. And so yeah, through just a lot of like great SEO and just their entire marketing strategy in general, that was what fueled their growth. And so they started that company based on a $5,000 investment, and 4 years later, they grew it just strictly through SEO and partnerships to $12 million ARR. And that's just through the power of SEO. When you have the right topics, the right kind of, authority in place, and you can speak on this sort of, expertise, and you attract that clientele, it works really well. So yeah, that model was a pretty fun ride to watch, and glad that, they had that success. And so now we can move things forward for Trio.
Well, that's awesome. I've known Nathan for a very long time, and we are free up customers and have always been very happy with that service. So congratulations on that success. What about what type of business? You mentioned the CEO and you mentioned, type of size. Are there industries this works better in? Are there industries you guys won't do?
Great question. So right now, the subjects that are a little bit more difficult, I would say, to go after are going to things that fall into like a your money, your life sort of category. So that's things like finance or health. Anything that really has a sway on people's lifestyle is kind of where Google is more challenged on that subject. But if the generalist topics like e-commerce, all that sort of stuff, it's not like you really need to have, expert opinions on it to rank well. But of course, if you're trying to talk about diabetes, we would hope that it's not just, John Smith down the street offering advice online.
Can you give me an example of, let's say, a quote unquote more normal business than a virtual placement agency? What about a local, whether it's a professional service, a clinic, a financial services, someone that more of our audience might relate to than a digital freelancer company?
Yeah, so I would say a good example is, let's see here. So instead of like a local service, it could be like we'll say a local event company. So somebody who is, hosting events or trying to attract people to do all this sort of stuff. So it could be like, I'm from Seattle, so it could be like things to do in the summer in Seattle. And then obviously if they could find that piece of content, they would have an idea or kind of the awareness of, hey, like, go here or go do this. We primarily deal with things like another example would be like mergers and acquisitions is one of our clients. And so from that example, like we're writing content about like, car wash valuations, how to sell accounting firms, how to sell all this sort of stuff. So it's more or less guides that speak to that sort of industry. And then within that, we're offering CTAs, newsletter inserts, all that sort of stuff.
How do you keep on top of all of the changes in Google's ever-changing algorithm?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a fun one. So we're just like SEO nerds at our heart of it, and we're just glued to LinkedIn news and Twitter and kind of all of the where you get your news. And the difference being is that we just follow the SEO people and we follow Google and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, Google's definitely getting more strict about their quality more than ever. And so that kind of ups our game, which is great for clients.
That kind of segues into my next question, which is, I'm sure, been both the bane and bonus of your existence in the last year or two. How has the giant rise of ChatGPT and the sudden adoption by everybody who didn't already know about AI affecting your business?
Yeah, so it's been really interesting to see AI kind of take shape in SEO because people are using ChatGPT to just create as much content as possible. Google has come out and said, they're not really big fans of AI content. It can be deemed as spammy and just not really trustworthy, which makes sense. And so, Google has strict guidelines and they don't want that to be ranked. But from our perspective, like all of our stuff is 100% human written, 100% human edited. And so it makes sense that all of our clients have seen massive growth surges through Google updates because it's, great content and great quality. So if anything, it's been helpful for us to kind of like sift out a lot of the lower quality sites out there. But yeah, we just keep doing what we're doing. It's been working well.
Awesome. You guys have grown tremendously and you've helped your clients grow, which is even more important. What's your biggest challenge now?
I think just all the little inner workings. It's kind of like, working out. You have just so many little muscles that you don't expect and something pops up, whether it's, growing our systems, making sure that we can scale effectively, making sure that we're not biting off more than we can chew, and just making sure that communication remains our top priority. It has been since day one, is making sure that clients are constantly in the loop. We're very transparent with how things are going. They have direct access to all the content we're publishing. So just making sure that clients are, top priority, number one. But then, kind of seeing whatever pops up. That's kind of the fun of it. It's like one big puzzle.
That is one way to put it. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
Just the fact that it's never a real job. That's kind of what I feel like it takes to be an entrepreneur, is knowing that obviously it's a real job. I work, 50, 60 hours a week, but the fact that I get to wake up every day excited to do what I'm doing. And even on stressful days, I remind myself that it's not a normal 9 to 5, and I love that life. So it's just one big game.
That's a great attitude. Have you always felt that way, or is that one through a few scars?
So I've never, I graduated from college and kind of went straight into my first business. When I left that, I took a year off and I went and got a real job, and I quickly learned how my entrepreneurship identity was shaken. And so that lasted about 6 months. I quit on the spot with no backup plan, and then started Trio about 8 months later. So quickly got back in entrepreneurship and just kind of realized that this is my path.
Well, congratulations to you, your team, and your clients. How do you manage and create culture when you've got employees who are all over the place?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the hurdles. We just really kind of take care of people and just try to do our best. We have lots of meetings and ask fun questions. Not everything is dedicated to work. We celebrate our wins. We talk about, people's birthdays, what they did on the weekends. We're encouraged to share pictures of our, down days. And if we go on trips, like all that sort of stuff that you would do with friends and family elsewhere, no difference being that it's on Slack. So we just try to make it a really fun work environment and treat people like they're our friends. We kind of have a motto where we wouldn't hire anybody that we wouldn't want to go, out to dinner with and grab a drink with or whatever. So as long as we can kind of have that relaxed, comfortable, easy feeling, the casual kind of comfort of that culture comes with it.
That makes a lot of sense. Since you brought it up, what do you do for fun?
I like to golf as much as I can, weather permitted, living in Seattle, of course. But yeah, I golf a lot. I have some like kind of niche hobbies. But yeah, a lot of it, I kind of look at my work as kind of a hobby, which kind of is a hot take by some, but it really is. I love what I do. It's a big video game to me. But yeah, I kind of, enjoy date nights, puzzling. I like golf. So I kind of try and do a little bit of here and there stuff.
Awesome. Well, we hope you get to the next level of the game. This has been Seth Greene with Steven Scheider from TrioSEO. Steven, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks so much, Seth.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.